to make things right. You and I must fight for our rights. You and I must fight to survive. No one's gonna take me alive. The time has come to make things right. You and I must fight for our rights. You and I must fight to
So that song we've just heard was from a band called Muse, an album called Black Holes and Revelations. I think the song was called Nights of Sidonia. Some of you guys out there might have heard of the band called Muse. It's a British.
Never heard of that.
No, really, no, Eddie. No. Okay. I'm sure other young people have.
I'm not young.
Yeah, maybe that's why you haven't heard of it. But I would say they were one of the best new bands in the past few years from Britain, and they were an interesting band actually, because they actually got together at school, so they actually were all mates. They're all friends, because often in these bands nowadays they're manufactured bands, aren't they? But they actually knew each other, and their band is their music is a bit different, because they bring in piano into the more classic rock and roll type of music, and it kind of works in quite a good way. So check check them out a bit more if any listeners have not heard of them. Yeah. So
is there any special reason that you chose this song?
I thought I like it. I think all of their music is good. I've got all their albums actually.
Yeah, you play it just because it is good.
Just because it's good, yeah. And I like the music. I often listen to it in my headphones when I'm walking down the street. It's good. It's powerful music, and it gets you gets you going. I think I like it.
Yeah. So going back to the question of LSD,
yeah.
And how would you compare LSD with the political parties or in England? And what I mean is that is there a counterpart of LSD in Britain?
Well, yeah. I mean, I follow Hong Kong politics pretty well, actually. Nowadays, I'm just to let listeners know, I'm coming back and forth between Hong Kong and the Philippines now. But I do follow Hong Kong politics. I'm following what's going on here and the political situation. And I can talk a lot about the differences between Hong Kong and British politics, and hopefully it will get listeners thinking more about the situation here and other countries and stuff. But obviously, in Britain it's a much bigger country. That's a big difference. Another special thing about Hong Kong is a small place. everyone is aware of all the political groups that are going on. Even the very small political groups. Whereas in Britain, geographically, it's a much bigger country, and it's got political groups. But I think all of the political groups in England will tell you it's very difficult to get people listening to you and media attention. There are probably hundreds of political groups in Britain, and which is the great thing about British politics. But most of them people never heard of. They tend to be sort of more niche or small groups of people doing different stuff or single issue to do with a particular issue. For example, whatever it is to do with immigration or whatever. And now and again, the media would go to this particular group for a view on something. Whereas in Hong Kong, Hong Kong is great in that the media they watch what all the different political groups are doing very carefully, and so you do actually hear a bit more about what the different political groups are doing on a more regular basis, perhaps than you would in other countries. Whereas with the British media, they tend to focus on the big political issue at the time, and often it revolves around the three main political groups, which are the Conservatives and Labour and the Liberal Democrats. That's where most of the focus on, and you can understand why, because that's where the majority of the votes and the electorate, that's what they're concerned about, and that's just the way it works. But as regards LSD, in terms of Hong Kong politics, I am impressed that LSD is everyone in Hong Kong is aware of who they are and what they stand for. I'm sure that some people within LSD are sometimes disappointed that perhaps they're not getting listened to, or they haven't got enough power. But it's just a matter of building it up, I think. I think I'm impressed by the way in which it has been built up, and it's just I think in terms of the strategy, they've just got to keep building it up within the grassroots community, networking, just through handshakes and networking, but also obviously from what we call the top down, from the media down as well. So it's a matter of doing it from both angles, I think.
Yes, but I think LSD is unique at least in one sense. You don't have such kind of famous political commentators to organize a political parties like Raymond did.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, that is true. That's it's good actually that LSD has got Raymond, who's a well-known radio host before, and I think that's good, and it's also good. I think that there are different characters within LSD.
Quite strong egos.
Yeah, big egos, and but keeping because obviously Longhair and Albert Chan, they are and Raymond, they are all different kind of characters. They're all pretty strong-minded. I know having know all of them, that they are strong-minded characters, and they'll stand up, and they've got their own independent views as well as views within the group, and that's only natural, I think, that within all political groups that's what you will get. We just have to hope that there's